Here we go. Back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Zagger-tastic stream. And as I, your friend, the one, the only Z, a single Zaggard. And I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, noon, night, evening, whatever time it is for you today. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, my friends. And it is another wonderful, beautiful Fantasy Fridays here in the Dragon's Den. Woo woo. How are you all doing, my friends? It is good to see each and every one of you. Again, right before the weekend, I had to swallow there right when I had a skinny dipped right before, and so I got a little bit of peanut butter in the back of my throat that was sticking everything together. I mean, it's not real peanut butter; it's just sugar, but you know what I mean. Whoa, Dark Noah, Yuki, how you doing? So today, if you can't read, today's stream is some more Dungeons and Dragons prep for my Session 5 Crossfire and Cunning game. So if you don't know, I run 2 games of D&D right now. The Looming Shadows and the Looming Shadow and Crossfire and Cunning. And we meet every month for both of those groups. So I end up running 2 games every 2 weeks or every fortnight. You play Grow a Garden? I have not played Grow a Garden. It sounds familiar for some reason, but I have not played it. So, there is going to be one addendum to the stream that we don't normally have. So one of the ways that if you don't know, I have ADHD, and one of the ways I keep myself focused is, you got to distract parts of your brain sometimes, because with ADHD, you're like, oh, this thought, and 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 this thought. And so when you're trying to work on one thing, and you say you're trying to work on this, and then there's a thought in the back of your head, like right here, it pulls your attention, and it makes it hard to focus on one direct idea or thought or conversation. So one of the things I do is I play music in the background. Music that's not, it doesn't have any lyrics. Lyrics are distracting. Some people say they can listen to a song lyrics and it helps them focus. I'm not one of those people, and I know very few people who are those people. 90% of the time, if you want to listen to music to help you focus, make sure it doesn't have lyrics. Or if it is something with lyrics, make sure it's an instrumental. But even then, it's better that the song just doesn't inherently have lyrics, because if it does, your brain is going to want to try and sing the lyrics, and now you're distracting yourself with the lyrics instead of your work. So just have it be something with a nice melody or rhythm that plays in the background. What I generally listen to is either Legend of Zelda Lo-Fi or Legend of Zelda OST, because I grew up with Zelda. It's very fantasy coded for me. And so when I'm listening to Zelda stuff, it makes me think of fantasy, creativity, video games, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy, creative game. There you go. See, it kind of leads my brain to that path. And I love the music for Zelda. So I may or may not have, I'm debating having the music playing during the stream, because I'm worried about it getting copyright struck, because that keeps happening when I play it. So it's going to be muted during the stream this time. So just as a test, can you guys hear that? You shouldn't be able to hear. Okay, it's still playing. What the heck? That's bizarre. It should not be playing for you guys at all right now, because it's muted for me. So I'm gonna, I guess OBS is just being different. Cool. That's fun. I love when that happens. Doing awful. My spoons are all dirty, and it's not quite time for the dishwasher yet, so I have to use a fork for my yogurt. Or here's another option. Wash a single spoon with a sponge. I know some people really hate that idea, because it's like, oh, you're wasting water and soap, and blah, 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 blah. But I am a big proponent of, if you need one thing, just wash it. It's fine. The amount of water you're wasting is, can you still hear it? I muted it on OBS. Epic stream. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just risk it for the chat. But if I feel like it's too risky, just go on Spotify or YouTube, type in Zelda OST collection. I'm going to set up a thing that tells you what song is currently playing in the chat so that way you can just follow along. That's too much effort. That is an ADHD response, my friend. That is an ADHD response right there. I understand the too much effort. Although for me, I also like... I have to eat certain things with certain utensils, so I have to wash it. So, like, if I want to have, not that I'd ever eat yogurt, because I freaking hate yogurt, and that's a whole other story, but if I ever were to eat yogurt, I'd have to use a spoon. I can't use a fork. It's not, no. I'm just going to wash the spoon, because I have to. It's just, you can't. Nope. Can't do it a different way. And that's just how my brain is. I'm starting to realize that with ADHD, you are a lot less relaxed than people think you are. People think you're just willing to just chill and you just have fun and da-da-da. But either I'm slightly autistic, which might be possible, or people with ADHD have very specific things they like ways to be done. And it really throws our brain off when things are not done a specific way. I'm starting to realize that more and more. And again, maybe it is just a me thing. But I'm seeing other ADHD people talk about it. And it's like, yeah, if this thing isn't this way, it drives you crazy. And it's not big things like, oh, the furniture was moved around. Although, just imagining my furniture being moved to different places, I'd be like, no. But like a little thing, like for instance, there's, I have 2 different face washes, a regular face wash and an acne face wash. And one of the bottles was missing from our house for 2 weeks because my fiance left it at her sister's house. And I didn't notice until we went on vacation and I saw that she brought it. I was like, hey, thanks for bringing our face wash. She's like, yeah, because I brought it. It wasn't my sister who brought it because I left it at her house for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, didn't notice. And that's probably because there's another face wash that I can just use that. So I don't need to worry about it. Anyways, the point is I'd have to use a spoon. I wouldn't be able to use a fork. Anyways, 2 Dungeons and Dragons. So, this folder is called Stream Plans, because this is what I plan to do on stream. But in actuality, it's like half stream plans, half just plans. So, let me find my folder. So, the previous session, and this isn't a spoiler for my players because they were there for it. So the first session started with them going to the Arcane Citadel. We built it out. We worked together. Didn't mean to do that. We worked together to make Daltrey City, if you guys remember from a few months ago. It's a city that's built on top of and inside the husk of a earth elemental, along with antenna trees, which are made into ent metal, which is a metal that has anti-magic properties. So that's where they're staying. The setup is, they're a group of thieves. They all have their own roles, and they will have different missions throughout the game that they can choose to do for gold or for favors or whatever. And the first session started with them going into the Arcane Citadel and stealing a device called the Flexagon. Well, they were supposed to only steal the blueprints, but then their contact tricked them and was like, yeah, I'm actually going to steal the whole Flexagon, and I'm going to leave you guys behind to try and take the fall for it. And then they had to fight the Citadel Golem. I didn't have any notes here because just half of these notes here, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is just sometimes this is how my notes are. 2 sentences. As our heroes open the chest inside, they find, read contents of chest. Because that was the last thing they did. So they fought the giant golem. They had to run out of there without getting caught, without their names and faces being out there. And also being one of the few people who know that the Flexagon is gone, has been stolen, and it's going into critical meltdown. And if they don't find it within X period of time, like let's say 6 months, maybe a year, the whole city will, it'll be a nuclear explosion. It will kill thousands of people. So then the next one was they got to find Tonga. Tonga was their contact who stole the Fluxgon for some mysterious buyer. And so now they need to find him. But he's disappeared into the wind. Daltrey City isn't small. It's a very big area with 5 different districts. But, you know, fairly sorry I hit that. And so they talked to a bunch of different NPCs who all gave them different quests. Tommy Halfjaws, Big Bertha, Basque, Frill Blueglass, and Drenna Silvertongue. They talked to all 5 of them individually because there are 5 players, so 5 NPCs to talk to. And then they decided to go with this mission. So none of my players are here, I'm pretty sure, because they're all in London. And what time is it in London right now? What time is it in London? Yeah, they're probably asleep. Knowing my group of players, they're probably asleep. They're not watching the stream. I doubt they know I do these streams, which is totally cool. I don't have to worry about spoiling. I have to cough. Or not. Okay, that's cool. So, this one was told like, hey, you've got 24 hours to do this mission. Turns out the real reason is because this is a trap. This is actually, oh no, this is the trap mission. This one is just a temporary mission that isn't going to give them the rewards they think it is. The reward is going to be something different. And I'll give you a rundown after I read through the chat. That's too much effort. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely going to rot in hell for using a fork, but just desperate times call for desperate measures. Okay. Yeah, sure. This is desperate. Understand. That's cool. Thank you, Noah. For all you know, they're all lurking. Possible, but I doubt it. I feel like I would know. I feel like if any of them was in stream, they would have said something. They're all they're not quiet people, which is one of the reasons I like playing D&D with them. It would not be fun to me to play D&D with someone who just sits there like, I rolled the dice. I attack. I rolled the dice. I attack. Like, I would want someone who interacts with the world. You know, that's part of the whole role-playing aspect. That's why there are certain people I would never invite. That's not true. I would be very cautious to invite to play D&D. You know, D&D players are not lurkers. We are communicators. I mean, there are those out there who don't really do any of the social aspects of D&D, but that's like missing out on a third of the content. That's like playing Pokemon without... let me think. That's like playing Pokemon without capturing any Pokemon after your starter. You know, that's you're losing out on a big portion of what the game is. So, anyways, they took the mission from Frill Blueglass Menda. All right. So he was told that they he had a suitcase that he left in his old place all before the lockdown started. Wondering, you know, about that incident, but there was a warehouse fire. And Tonga's set it up to erase records of deals made with an ent metal smuggler named, right? And I can give you the name of that ent metal smuggler. He might know where Tommy is now, but you got to do something for me. First, you got to go back to Forgevale. Okay, my warehouse is about to go in smoke. Literally. It contains unstable ent metal scrap and a hijacked enchantment crystal rumored to contain sensitive council data. Time window, you got about 24 hours before the whole block is accidentally leveled by controlled demolition. The reward is he's gonna, the hidden councilman ledger, and they gotta get him that briefcase. In actuality, he doesn't want the briefcase, he wants what's inside the briefcase. And And one of the things I made up on the fly is that the briefcase has weird voices coming from it, right? So I've decided, let's go to stream plans, that the briefcase is actually a mimic. The voices he's been hearing is from the briefcase talking to him. And one of the things about it is that it eats magic. And, you know, living things all have magic in them. So mimics generally go for living things first. But this mimic is fine with eating anything with strong levels of arcane. And so it can eat some magic items. You can feed it magic potions. It's fine with that. I mean, it'll cost you, you know, a magic item or a potion. And they can keep this mimic if they want. I might try to entice it, make it interesting if they try to keep it. So that's the first thing we're going to write down in this. Let's make this level 4. The briefcase. I realize I spelled that wrong. I'm going to turn the music down just a smidgen. There we go. That was a bit too loud for me. That would have been very distracting. Okay. It is a mimic. It eats things with arcane energy. Generally easiest to eat. Living beings. However, is willing to eat magic items and potions. Mimic briefcase is a very interesting concept. Exactly. That's why I want to use it. I just thought of it out of nowhere. I was like, mimic briefcase. Making things a mimic is fun. Having an item that talks to you is fun, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. But imagine an item that talks to you and also is trying to eat you half the time. So first, let's try to give it a name. How about Venzalar? Yeah, sure, Venzalar. Cool. The briefcase. His real name is Venzalar. Tommy always just. Wait, what was his name again? I don't remember all my NPCs' names. Sue me. Frill. Frill. Just called him. He never trusted Frill to reveal that he was a mimic. Question A, what's your favorite plot twist you've ever seen in a movie, game, book, show, etc.? No Star Wars. I know everybody's going to say, like, oh, episode 5. That's like my one stipulation. It's too easy. Dagger moving towards Vor next. Heh. Vor. What is Vor? Did you mean to say gore? I mean, things get gory in a battle, so yeah. If your D&D game doesn't have a little bit of gore in it, okay. I have no idea what Vor is. Now I gotta look this up. You're making me look up words, aren't you? Huh. Huh. That is definitely not my thing. Looking that up, Yuki, that is not my thing at all. That actually makes me a little sick. The idea of either one of them freaks me the fuck out. The other one is just disgusting. Okay, so. Oh, good. Lol. Yeah, of course you're gonna lull now. Now that I've called you out. Okay, so they gotta get here. How are we gonna get them from beginning to end? It's gonna have. So we gotta pull out our layout. I gotta find the. Let's use a new image. Jeez, that's a big image. Give me a second. You're probably looking at it like, what are we looking at? I forget that it always resizes in OBS. There we go. You know, we'll make it a little bit smaller because you guys should be able to see that okay, right? I'm just gonna assume yes. Where's my? And then I have my own Copepe up here. Wait, I'm no Vor fan. I had the Monka emote. That's what a Vor fan would say. So I was attempting to eat a sandwich with a kitten present. What, you can't do that? You can't eat a sandwich with a kitten present? What's wrong with your kitten, huh? Is your kitten holding a gun to you and saying no sandwiches in my house? It's a demanding kitten. She wants my sandwich. Well, then you put her on the floor. Or just give her a little nipple. Okay, so we got to start with an entrance, right? So we know that the mission is to retrieve a fireproof a condemned lab, right? So how are we going to have the entrance be? Since it's a condemned lab, usually there will be what do we call it? Let's call this Frill's lab. And we'll come up with a better name for it later, but for now we just need the basics condemned lab. And then of course we also got a bold entrance, right? Okay, so what will we find in the entrance? And let's just write out all the areas. Environmental complication. Logical location. Secret entrance / exit. Alternate threat or ally. Helpful info. Resource drain. Secret room. Final battle. Reward. Revelation or twist. Right. Okay, so the big brain. I put her on the floor, she gets back up, and so on and so on. Everyone's easy. You have 3 cats now, right? I've had 3 cats for about a year or 2. Why do you ask? Let me think. How old are you guys? Yeah, you guys are like 2 years now. So I've had 3 cats for a while. Why, you want to see them? One is sleeping all the way in the corner. I might be able to get Goblin. Gobbles, you want to get up? No? He doesn't want to get up. He wants to nap. So let's start with the entrance and a guardian. So this is a condemned lab. What would you see in a condemned lab? First, caution tape. Right? That's one thing you'd see. Maybe some officers or scientists. Right? People who would be like, hey, you can't go in there. It's closed to the public right now. Blah, blah, blah. Since it's going to be destroyed, probably some construction workers. Right? Because they're going to demolish it. You need people who know how to use explosives. Cops and scientists don't know how to use those. So that's how the outside will be. There will be some ent metal officers, some scientists or something, some construction workers, setting up explosives to blow the building up and demolish it. Maybe they'll even have like, I wouldn't say a magic crane. I feel like that's too modern. Because we could have explosives without a crane, you know. And maybe on the side a box of sealed evidence. Right, because it was condemned. You know, the officers probably found some chemicals or drugs in there. That is an illegal substance in Daltrey City. So if the players want to, they sneak around in the outside. They might find some of the stuff. They might be able to take some of it without anybody noticing. Does it say I only have 2 in the channel description? Okay, I will fix that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. See, where'd you say in the Twitch homepage? Where? Where does it even say it? I don't see it. Oh, I see it. Where's the edit? Nope, not that. Okay, I'll have to edit that some other time. Message me on Discord about that, because that's gonna be too distracting for right now. My kitty hates the kittens, but upside, she only swipes at the kitten if she gets close. And my kid doesn't care enough to try and befriend her. Lol. That's pretty normal for kittens and older cats. The older cats usually, it takes some time to want to like them. Condemned lab? I don't know, radioactive spiders. Condemned lab? What was it condemned for? Illegal drugs. You know, it's they found his operation of illegal potions and moonstone harvesting, which is you need a permit for, and he doesn't have blood. In regards to the question, I thought of a plot twist I liked, and it's the Astra Lost in Space. Never heard of that one. Interesting. One that I like, but I don't think is like super amazing, but it's just stuck with me for years. But it's from one of my favorite book series. Is in Aragon. Spoilers for a 20-year-old book, by the way. In Aragon, he meets this guy who's about his age named Murtagh. And in the second book, it's revealed that Murtagh and Aragon are actually brothers. They share a mother. And they think they share a father for a while. And then it turns out that they don't share a father, but they do share a mother. So they're half brothers. I love that. That plot twist was pretty good in my opinion. Not radioactive spiders. Spiders on drugs. Enormous potion spiders walk around like they're drunk because of the magic drugs. Canal Lab should have some amount of broken equipment. Yeah, we'll get files that yell slurs at people. That one's a bit far, Lily. I'm not against it. It's just a bit further than I was thinking. So let's start with so for now we have kind of the idea of what the outside is going to look like. Caution tape, officers, scientists. Caution tape, officers, scientists, construction workers, and a box of sealed evidence, right? So that's what they find outside. Then when they get inside, they're going to have, there's going to be an environmental complication because that's always how it happens. So first, there's probably going to be lots of officers in the first room, right? And scientists moving evidence. So that's going to be like their social complication. Like, ooh, okay, so how are we going to get through this without like becoming too suspicious, right? Like imagine you just like you saw a place with caution yellow tape. You walk in, front door, 30 cops there, and they all turn to look at you. I walked into the wrong building. My bad. You know, something like that. Then the other environmental complication is the door will be sealed. Door to next room is sealed. Right? We're going to say that they sealed it off because chemical danger. Right? They okay, so a normal person would see that door, even if all the cops are there. They see that door and go, "No, I'm out of here." We're criminals. We're adventurers. We're gonna find a way into that door. All that matters is it's there right now. Remember, your job as the DM is not to come up with the plan to solve it. You're there to create the obstacle. Your player's job is to figure out, okay, how do we get through this door? You just set the scene. And then you decide, okay, it's going to be hard, it's going to be easy. They're the ones who have to be like, okay, how am I going to get through? They could try talking to the door, not going to work. They could try smashing the door down, would be real noticeable. Could try picking the lock, you know. But it's not your job to think of all that stuff. Just back to the Breaking Bad lab busting scene. I don't remember that scene. Oh, rats that have learned speech and keep scuttling around in corners, throwing their voice at the fuck with the construction workers and divert the progress. Again, interesting concept. We'll store it away. Exactly. They could try teleporting through the door. They don't have any teleportation right now. One, because they're level 1, and 2, because teleportation in my world is very, very rare. People can teleport. Short distances isn't impossible, but it's rare, and you need to be a high level mage for that. Or have a special artifact from like thousands of years ago. Long distance teleportation is basically unheard of. There are rumors that it exists, but very few people, if anybody, have ever seen it work. They could use the force on the door. Well, consider the fact that this isn't Star Wars. No, they can't. Wasn't so much as busting as much as finding the wreckage of Fring's lab. I legitimately don't remember much of Breaking Bad. I remember like the character beats, but I don't remember the main things that happen in it. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't love Breaking Bad like some people did, or I should say most people were like I had a friend who was like, you gotta watch Breaking Bad, you gotta watch Breaking Bad, Breaking Bad is so good, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. And then I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And I watched the first 3 seasons and I liked it, and then I got to season 4, and at some point I was just like, nah, I don't care. They could very carefully use a spoon and dig a hole under the door. I'm in a comedic mood today. I see that, Lily. And even though I don't plan to use most of your ideas, I very much enjoy you commenting them. So keep sending them. If it gets too much, I will tell you. But for now, I'm liking the I'm liking the creativity. Anyways, let's move on to the next room. So we have the environmental confrontation. A bunch of officers and scientists moving evidence around. The door to the next room is sealed because chemical dangers. That's what it'll say. And we'll flesh this out more. What we need to do is just have the broad strokes, right? So think of it like a painting. You don't just immediately paint every little detail right away as soon as you paint it. You want to write, like if you're drawing a painting of a tree, first you just draw the not the bark, but the main body, right? I'll just say the main body. I can't think of it right now. And then you draw the branches, and then you add the leaves, and then you draw the roots, and then you draw the ground around it. Then you draw the sky behind it. That's how you don't just immediately like, okay, I'm gonna draw all the grass, and you can't do it all at once. You do step by step. So our first step is broad strokes. We know we want a tree. We know we want a lab, right? So next, so if they don't want to try to go through the environmental complication, they can go to the logical location. So what's a logical place that you would find in a condemned warehouse, condemned drug lab? What are some places? I've got the creativity. Good. Chemical dangers. I'm thinking toxic air. Okay, I'll write down ideas. Chat ideas. Talking rats. Giant chemical spiders. I don't usually like using spiders, but I will. Let's see. Toxic air. Okay. Money laundering. Counting room. Logical place in a lab, but they're not accessible. They're not accessing the actual. Yeah, this isn't the actual lab portion yet. This is just this is like part of the lab. So like if you think of it like a restaurant, right? There's the waiting area, there's the dining area, there's the kitchen area, there's the bathrooms, and there's the dishwashing area. All these areas are important to running a restaurant, but they're also all separated, right? And then there's also the manager's office and the employee break room. Again, all important areas that you need. Or in terms of chemicals and airborne things, you could go the route of the chasm of death from Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, where it acts like a sort of super drugs. It makes your voice really high and affects you like laughing gas, just to make it seem like you died laughing. Perhaps. Equipment room or storage lockers? I'll put those both down. Equipment room. Storage. Shipment garages. I'm gonna actually skip ahead, and I'm gonna make the shipment garage the secret entrance or exit. Right? Okay, so one of the things that I like to do in my dungeons is I don't want things to be too linear. If it's just, I go from room A to room B to room C to room D, it gets so boring and repetitive, and it doesn't feel like in real life, if you were to go into any building, would it ever be just walk to room, then next room? No, sometimes you got to walk in the lobby, then you got to go up the elevator, then you got to take a right, and then you got to take a left, and then you got to go into your room, and then that leads into another room, and then finally you're at your last location. Or if you're like at school, it's like, okay, you go in through this front. I'll just imagine how my school was laid out. You go in through the front that goes through the quad, and then I had to take a left past the principal's office, go down a set of stairs, go straight, and then it would split into a 4-way hallway, go straight again, take a right, go up the stairs. The stairs didn't line up with the corners, so I had to take a right and then a left, and then go down 3 rooms. See, that's how rooms work in real life. So to make them as realistic as possible, but still game rooms, I'm gonna make the shipment garage the secret entrance that they can get in. Inside, find some items. What items can they find? Don't know yet. Just know that they can find them. That way it's not only do they get rewarded with an entrance that gets around some stuff, it gets right, and they can use it to sneak into one of the future rooms. But also, it rewards exploration of the players. Because if they do go in through the front and they end up in the shipment garage walking through the front, if it's just an empty room with an exit, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But if it's an empty room if it's a room with an exit and stuff in it, and stuff they can use, well, now I feel like I want to explore more. Imagine dying laughing, though, the air slowly leaving your lungs. At first it's funny, and then it begins to get agonizingly painful. Yeah, I would hate that. I would actually hate that. I'm thinking, I think drug labs in movies I usually see have kick-ass car garages with luxury cars or something similar. Yeah, that'll be the secret entrance, the shipment garage. I imagine they have an armory. Ooh, an armory. Okay, we could make that the secret room. Right? Secret room, I usually want to make, has a magic item. Special info. Usually I always like to have a secret room because, again, it really helps with exploration. They're hidden rooms, and they're drug dealers. They'd have a hidden room somewhere. Probably an armory with guns or, realistic. I mean, if it was the real world, it would be guns. But this is a magic world, so they probably have, like, magic blasting wands or swords, That makes me think of a conference room. Ooh, a conference room. Okay. Yeah, let's say the money counting room. Maybe is further back, actually. Because you never want to, like, if people come in to check it out, you don't want them to see that first. You want them to see, like, a legitimate business first. And then in the back, you got we're money laundering here or whatever. And even if it's not a legitimate business, you want the money in the back so they don't just run into the front room, take your money, get out of here. So we're going to move that back to the helpful info. And as you can see over here, that is further into the complex. So it's a little bit safer. And in that case, I would make the storage lockers the logical location. Right? And so I'm going to move this one down just to move it. I don't know if equipment room. Let's actually make the equipment room the resource drain. And we could say there's some magic equipment that is going to try to attack them for breaking in, or it's just going haywire. And we could also say the cops haven't gotten here yet. Alternate threat or ally. Nest of radioactive rats. So let's say the alternate enemy that they have here, besides the metal soldiers, or not metal, the entinel. No. What did I call them? What are they called? I forget what they're called. I'm blanking on the name of my own units. It's in session 1, I think. Ent Warriors. That's it. The Ent Warriors. They'll have a few, you know, not only is there Ent Warriors that they could be fighting, but there's also going to be these radioactive rats, right? So let's write down, enemies. Ent Warriors. Giant rats. Maybe a garden of sorts of interior greenhouse for growing ingredients like rare plants, maybe even some dangers. Ooh. Also, how many floors, levels, sublevels does this lab have? That's a good question. I haven't thought about it yet. We'll, let's say the final room is the interior garden. And then we could say throughout the place, there are like these radioactive plants. Magically enhanced fauna. Right, there are these magically enhanced like plants, vines, things that have kind of taken over later sections. So after they get past the first two parts with mostly humans, they'll start finding these vines that like try to attack them or try to poison them as the game goes on, or as the session goes on. As they get further in, it's gonna get more dangerous, attack them more. And at the very end, there's gonna be this huge plant monster thing that they have to fight. Right? Evil plant monster. And then this is where they find Venexilar. Ooh, nah. Not loving this name. Venzalar. How about just Venzalar? We'll think about the name. Anyways, that's a good question. How many? Let's Google this, right? This is what we use. Like, this is what we use. We like to use the internet, ChatGPT, these sorts of things for. Is like thinking about logical things that my brain doesn't think about. Because I'm going to be looking at the map. It's like a 2D thing, but in reality, it's a 3D structure, right? So. Let the players have to infiltrate. How many floors, levels, sub-levels would be good for a level 1 party? I have an idea. When the rats are killed, a gas of effect happens where it gives you a random potion effect that slows them down. My physics lab has 2 subfloors and 2 above ground floors. Oh, it also has a separate building for the offices. Exactly. Right. So is it a full separate building just for these offices? And logically, if this were a real life building and I were making a video game and I had months to work on it and a team of people, I could probably think of a way to implement that. Where there's the offices. The upper floors are the offices. The middle floors are like the front, the greeting rooms, and then the bottom floors are the drugs. And maybe that is how I'll do it. Let's here, I'll write this down. floors / layout. Ideas. Upper floors. Offices. And worker rooms. Middle / ground floor. Entrance / elevator. Lower / basement. Labs and green gardens. Misspelled gardens. And then what did you say? Rats. When rats die, they excrete a gas that has a randomized effect. I'm not going to do a randomized potion effect because if I say it's a randomized potion effect, that means that they can purchase and or make these potions in my world, and I don't know if I want these effects to be something the players can use in the future yet. So I'll just say they're randomized effects. So I like that idea though. Well, it is pretty much completely separate, but connected by a 2-story passageway. Yeah, and no, I know how it is for your school. But again, if I'm making a D&D map, right? And they're here to infiltrate the labs. Why build a second building that they're not gonna interact with this building? Unless I give them a reason to interact with the offices, right? Does that make sense, Yuki? Think about it like in a video game. Like God of War. Unless you put like a secret boss or special items here, or you have to get here for the story in God of War, you're not going to interact with this building at all. You're only going to interact with this. I was just clarifying. I think honestly it's a dumb design choice. It's probably not a dumb design choice if you need a lot of office space. And logically, I could see where you could need a lot of office space for lab stuff because there's so much. There's all the paperwork that you have to file away on your drugs, like just the flat information, like here are the drugs. Then there's all the employee stuff records. There's all the financial records. There's all the legal documents of this is what we own. This is what we have intellectual copyright to. This is who owes us this, that, you know, right? And the reason it's even like that is because the office building was built afterwards. I mean, I'm not surprised. Again, scientists are not business people. Scientists are big fat nerds, and just like all big fat nerds, myself included, we think of our like great, beautiful achievements first. Like, oh, I'm going to create this amazing video. I'm going to create these drugs that help people. I'm going to I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, right? And then it's the business people who are like, yeah, but here, how are you going to pay for that? And they're like, I don't know, it's going to be, I'm just going to make it. And people will buy it. It's like, no, you need offices. So I wouldn't be surprised if like a bunch of nerds who are super into chemicals were like, we're going to build this stuff first. And it's like, okay, well, where are you going to put all these files? Right. We'll build another building next door. So it's like, it sounds really dumb, and it kind of is, because with better planning, you would have probably built offices as part of the main building. But hey, what happened is what happened. Maybe there was some other concerns, like, oh, some of our chemicals are flammable, and we don't want it to accidentally get to our office building space. You know, that is a possibility. I mean, it's not a refinery, so it's a low possibility, I would think. But it's a possibility. Anyways, yeah, Dark Noah, I really like that idea of the randomized gas effects on the rats. So far we've how many minutes has it been? About 1 hour. In 1 hour, we've gone from they have to get a briefcase to we've built basically the skeleton of a lab. So it starts off, they got to go, there's a caution tape, I wrote tap. Caution tape on the outside, officers and scientists walking around, moving boxes of evidence, construction workers setting up dynamite in the front area. And if they want to, they could try to steal a box of sealed evidence, whatever it is. You know, it could be valuable, whatever's inside. It could be nothing. And then when they head inside, there will be environmental, there will be 2 rooms. There's environmental complication. The environmental complication is first, there are a bunch of officers and scientists moving around and moving evidence in and out of the building. Categorizing it in this front room and then moving it out. How are you going to get past them? Simple question. Then the door to the next room. Let's say it's the door to the nest of radioactive rats has been locked off or sealed. And they got to find a way to get past that or through it. And maybe we'll say it's not just a room, but an elevator. Right. Door, elevator to next room or floor is sealed because of chemical dangers. That's what it says. And I'm going to put that in quotes because that's just, it'll say something like danger, chemicals, or whatever. And what that actually means is it goes to the nest of rats. Then next we had the logical location. So they could just go into the next one to check the storage lockers. Right? Storage lockers, I think that makes sense. They would need, the employees would need outfits they can wear. Let's say there's an outfit for harvesting moonstone. Right? So one of the things my players already know is moonstone is highly illegal, and pure moonstone is highly dangerous, and you don't want to touch it with your bare skin. Like touching it with your bare skin, touching it with anything can cause a lot of problems if they're not handled properly. So finding an outfit for handling moonstone could be valuable. You could sell it. They could use it in the future. You know? They might not notice it, but we'll put it in there. And they can take it if they want. Store it in their backpack, because of course they'd have a backpack. Then the secret entrance or shipment, I'll say, connects to the garage. Right? So the shipment garage, which is their secret entrance or exit, alternate path. For players to enter. The door is locked. We're not gonna. We will call it a garage, but you know they'll use wagons instead of cars because it's not a modern city. It would be a place where they could have huge shipment wagons. Is locked. It's locked. And they could, and nobody's what? Locked with a huge chain. Now, as a player, what are ways that you would chat? Like, seriously, I'm legitimately asking you these questions. If you saw a huge door, door that could fit a large wagon, or maybe 2 wagons, we'll say, let's say it's really large, and it's locked with this huge chain on it. What are some ways you could break in? You know, these streams make me want to design a campaign world of my own, but I have no players. I will be honest with you, Yuki. You could find players so easily. If you decided to actually become a DM, you would have no shortage of players because there are always people who are willing to play and have no DM to run games for them. It's super easy to find. I'm sure even in your local area you could find some people like that. I'm also going to tell you it's a lot of work. Like it's not unbearable amount, but it is a lot of work. Like look at this is all my these are my pre-outlined notes. This doesn't have any that like this is my details for them talking to NPCs for a few hours. If you're willing to put in details like this for one session, then you can do it. It's not impossible. It's just work. That's all I'm saying. Fireball, oldie but a goodie. Okay, that's one. Yeah, exactly. See, you can already think of some. Find the key or break the lock. Yeah, see, exactly. This gives them like a, ooh, there's a thing over there. Like, and we got to describe it somehow. You can't just expect them to know that there's a garage. This is a fantasy world. When you think fantasy world, you don't think, oh, sorry, Gobbles. I didn't know you were walking by. You want to say hi? Oh, Goblin wants to say hi real quick. Let's go back to the main camera. This is my boy kitty. Okay, he doesn't like that position. Okay. He's a good boy. He sleeps next to my legs every single night because he's such a good cuddler. Can you give us a kitty smile? No kitty smile? Okay, he wants to be put down. He wants to be let down. Okay, bye, boy. He was like, that was too much attention. I don't want that right now. Okay, so. Yes, he is a cutie. Where were we? So garage door, we'd have to find some way to explain it. Like, oh, you see off to the side, there's a single pair of soldiers and warriors who are standing in front of a large chained door, right? Single pair of ent warriors guarding inside they can find some items. So what kind of items? Now let's see what ChatGPT said for levels. Let's see. Ideal structure for level 1 party. 2 to 3 levels total. Okay, so about what I was thinking. Level 1, 2, 3. Main lab floor, basement, storage hidden, rooftop, upper office. Yeah, this is more or less exactly what I was thinking. Cats are so cute. They are so cute. One of my cats, I've recently realized, she loves this one corner of my office. As soon as she comes in here, she almost always sits in that corner. And I was like, does she sit there because she's scared or nervous? No, that's not it. Because when I go to pick her up, she's like, oh, okay. And I recently realized it's because that's where the router is. And the router is really, really hot. It's like really warm. Like, you ever hold a hot cup of tea and you can feel like the heat coming through the cup? And after a while, you're like, okay, I got to put this down because my hand's a little hot. Like, it doesn't burn it, but it's just like, okay, my hand's getting sweaty. So she's sitting on that, and I hadn't noticed for forever. It's her little heated seat. She loves sitting on anything that's hot. Like, if you ever had a laptop, you know, the charger, there's that big brick in the middle. That's the chargeable battery. She loves to sit on that in the living room for Claire's computer because it's warm, and she'll just sit like with her two little paws. Just, doop. So she loves to find anything that's like a heater. Okay, so we got the let's see, what kind of items could they find? Let's say they could find some potions. And maybe and let's not make it potions of healing. Let's make them let's say 1 potion. 1 potion of teleportation, 5 spaces. So I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I play DC 20. For those of you who don't know, and DC 20 instead of using feet uses spaces because it's so much. If I say 5 spaces, like if I have a gridded square map, right? And I say, and your guy is here, and I say 5 spaces, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Versus if I said 25 feet, you have to get, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so 5, right? You have to do a lot more math. A needle. What do you mean a needle? I found like a drug needle of instant. These are just ideas, by the way. These are not, just because I write them down doesn't mean that they are for sure. I might get rid of the potion of instant teleportation, change to something else. Potion 1 of gaseous darkness spreads 10 spaces, lasts 3 rounds. Okay, what would be the point of the drug needle though? So like you could put stuff in a room, right? I could describe random stuff, but if I describe something, the players are going to think that it matters. So what is the needle? What's important about it? Let's expand on that idea. Because if we just say, oh, there's a needle there, it's like, you know, if you're playing through a game like what's it called? BioShock, right? You can put some weird shit in the background, some items that you can pick up. Or like in Fallout, you can pick up like Fallout and any Bethesda game, you can pick up all the cups, right? But that works in a video game because you just build assets. In a D&D game, you can't waste people's time explaining, okay, you find this, and you find this, and you find this, and you find this, because then they're going to be like, there's too much, I give up, right? So only describe the important stuff. It works in a video game because they can see it. They just look, there's a cup. If I say, there's a cup, it's like, okay, what is it? It's a cup. You know, Chekhov's gun or whatever it's called. It's kind of like Chekhov's gun, but it's a little bit different. So Chekhov's gun in storytelling is if you explain that there's a gun, you have to use that gun by the end of the story, right? In D&D, it's similar, but you know, in a stage play, you can make a set that has like red curtains and a large table and a couch. And you can have the actors walk around and sit on the couch. They can move the curtains. They can do like the physical props. In D&D, if you explain that this thing is there, the players are going to be like, that must be important because he explained it's there, right? And then the moment it isn't important is the moment they go, I don't know what's important anymore. And they start kind of losing interest because you're over-explaining. A good way to explain this is if let's say you're playing, right? I'm gonna set a scene for you. All right, let me imagine a scene. You walk into the headmaster's office. He has a large ornate desk with carvings of mermaids and dragons all over the fronts and sides. The top is layered with marble cut into it, placed on the top to give it a nice sheen. On the wall is a painting, 5 paintings of the last 5 headmasters, as this school has only been around for 50 years, and they've had a new headmaster every 10 years. The headmaster's chair is a large, tall back chair, wide enough to fit 2 people, made of dark mahogany oak, with red cushions sewn into the back and on the seat. It has clawfoot-shaped feet on the bottom. The windows stream in light, showing, letting you know it's sometime in the afternoon as the light is starting to descend. It has candelabra on hanging off the sides of the walls, each with 3 candles lit with green fire. The walls have a decorative golden blue trimming across every 5 inches, going vertically up and down. And in between the golden blue trimming, it has white as the background. The ceiling is curved at the top, almost kind of like a temple or a church, right? All that stuff really paints a picture. Now tell me, what was the most important detail that I just explained to you that I want you to interact with? There was one thing I thought of while describing that has a secret that's important. Let's see if chat can figure out what the important thing was for me describing that. While we're doing that, I'm going to think of some more potions. Potion of fire spreads. Okay, let's see. What have we thought of? I actually just thought of a replacement. So, potion of acid. Just gonna call this potion of darkness. All right, chat. Have you guys figured out what the important thing in the room I described is? Have we got an idea? I'm gonna see if anybody massages. I was attracted, so I have no idea. Exactly. And I described too much, so you didn't get interested. The thing that I described that was important was on the desk, the pictures of the mermaids and the dragons. If you were to inspect that, you would have found a hidden mechanism by pressing into the mermaid's hand, and then that would have opened up a secret compartment. But you have no way to know that was the important thing. So I would have just described that the table has X, Y, and Z. All right, we're going to come back to this in a minute. I need to take a bit of a break because I need to do that more for my throat and to drink some water. So we'll be back after these messages. Talk about fire that instantly heats. Have you ever felt like you were suffocating? Ever feel like there's no escape from that crushing feeling in your chest? Then your doctor might recommend air. Air is a new, free alternative to nothing. Our scientists have spent decades perfecting this product with extensive testing, years of research, and trial and error. We found a way to change the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere into breathable air just for you, using safe compostable materials such as trees. So you don't have to worry about ruining the environment while using air. 9 out of 10 doctors agree that air is essential to your heart, lungs, and brain. Air can also lead to cyclones, blizzards, cold and heat waves, thunderstorms, and tornadoes.
If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, please call emergency services and a team will be on their way to help you as quickly as possible. Do not take air without speaking to your doctor first, because air is not for everyone. If you are already using air, tell your doctor before he prescribes you any new medication. Whatever the case may be, air is here to help you out. Air. Take a breath.
Hello, my name is Dr. Foe, and I work for the Paranormal Entertainment Neurological and Intelligence Studies. There is a new disease sweeping the nation that affects ones of Americans per day. This new disease is known as Dane-Burmage. Do not be alarmed, we know the cause of this Dane-Burmage. You can get it from many sources such as watching TikTok, reading YouTube comments, watching bad TV shows or movies, reading fan fiction, engaging with social media, and many other sources found on the internet. This disease is highly contagious and can spread from person to person. You will know if you have the Dane-Burmage if you are experiencing symptoms such as commenting on videos on the internet, commenting on social media posts, talking in live stream chats, browsing sources such as Tumblr or Reddit, and any activity that requires you to connect on social media with strangers. If you do Have Dane Mermage, contact your local PNIS office, and an agent will immediately come to slow the effects of the Dane Mermage. If an agent is not able to come to get you in 24 hours, do not be alarmed. You can begin self-medication. One of the forms of self-medication is watching Zaggard on twitch.tv or the YouTubes. We have discovered that Dane Mermage is slowed by the element known as cringe. As you can see by the state-of-the-art presentation on your screen, the cringe waves released from your monitor and speakers create a temporary shield to protect your brain
chat, we are
from
back.
the Dane Mermage.
We are back. We are back. Let me just... Hello, hello. You guys hear me? Hello? Yep. Oh, I messed up. Did I return in the middle of a commercial break still? My badge. But also deal with it. All right, so... Oh, Yuki, are you here? I want to tell you something before I forget. Hello, Dark Noah. I think you'd find it kind of funny. So, message me, say Vrains when you get back. I feel like you're the only other person. Yeah, I'm all ears. Okay, so you know Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains? I started watching it recently because I saw a YouTube video talking about how it's the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Series out there. I was like, okay, I'll get into it. I'll try it. And so far, I'm liking it. The funny thing is, though, that when the outro came on for the first outro and the second outro, it started playing, and I was like, wait, these songs are already on my anime playlist for my anime music. I thought they were from another anime, but they were from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, and I've listened to them multiple times, and I already like them and thought they were pretty bangers. So... I've been listening to Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains music for years without ever knowing it was from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. I thought it was from a different anime I watched. Or a different season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think. Absolutely based. I know. It just shows it's just good music. And anyone who says otherwise is just flat wrong. Easy. Okay, let's see. Nest of radioactive rats. Here will be the Rat King. A large rat that has become humanoid sized. No, let's just say has become humanoid. Almost like a beastkin, but creepier. They can make a deal to they will lock the path to the money counting and armory. It will be a mini boss counter. All right, so that'll have the armory, or that'll be how they get to the money counting room in the armory. In the money counting room, let's say continue. Right, so once he gets to a certain HP, he's going to run away, and they're going to run into the money counting room, which will be the next... wait, we might not want the armory and the money counting room, because then it's like, oh, they get gold.
Yeah, let's not have it connected to the armory. So let's see. Okay, so garage. So officers, front room, the locker room, the garage. And we'll say the garage connects to the where's garage? Garage connects to elevator up and down. Right? And then that way the only goes up. Right, so they'll enter in. It'll make sense once I draw it out. Yu-Gi-Oh! Rot goes everywhere. True. Actual true. Here comes the money, money, money. I'm gonna eat the money, money, money. Shove it in my gullet, gullet, gullet. Swallow it down, down, down. I don't know what I'm saying. These aren't lyrics. What you doing, Dobbs? What you doing? Gavlin. He almost just face planted. He almost just face planted when jumping. That would have been hilariously scary. Okay, so this elevator only goes up, so and then the money counting room has an elevator that goes down. So where's the money counting room? Is directly connected to the rat nest elevator that connects to the garage and can also lead to the basement. Rat leader fight round 2. Here the PCs can search for a ledger of clients. This will give them info on people dealing in ent metal, moonstone, potions, armor upgrades, and weapon upgrades. Locker room and armory seems very similar. They're not, though, because think about it this way. The armory is where the soldiers go to get weapons. The locker room is where basic employees who, like the scientists would go to put on their gear to deal with the drugs and chemicals. So if you've ever seen like how illegal drug rooms are, there's usually a bunch of men and women standing in their underwear sifting through the drugs, or they might have hazmat suits on, right? That's what the locker room is. A place with like the hazmat suits. In this case, it's the moonstone, the moonstone harvesting suit. And then the armory will have magic items and potions and things in it. And maybe some special info. And it's a secret room too. It's not a room that anybody can find. The locker room is just like, oh, you go into the front door, you go left. There's a bunch of like locker rooms, right? The armory will be hidden behind a secret mechanism. Yeah, okay. See, once I explain it, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Do we give them some gold to find? They have a lot of gold right now, so they're not worried about gold. I gave them a bit too much in session 1, I'm going to be honest. They got 10,000 gold each at the beginning, so I'm going to not give them gold for a while. I want them to start running out of gold. Hi, Ishnavir, how you doing? We're the CBT room. Well, you see, Albert, it's actually in your basement. So if you want some CBT, just go down in there. You got to put in the code, which is your social security number. So you just put that into the computer and type send. Resource drain, the equipment room, right. I'll meet you there. Hold up. Oh, the cognitive behavioral therapy room? Good idea. What are you doing, Gobbles? You guys playing? You and Sush? You guys messing with my shit back there? I've been good. That's good. Have you had Miyamoto announce cast for... Oh, yeah, I saw the announced cast for Link and Zelda. I know people got mad about the Zelda casting. And I saw the person they wanted, and it's like... Sure, that person kind of looks like Zelda, but also a little too old for Zelda, in my opinion. And... fan casting never matters to me. I honestly hate fan casting because people be like, this person should play this character because they kind of look like them. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they can play the character. Also, the only thing I know that person's from is, okay, kitties. Stop. I'm not a fan. Again, I'm not a fan of fan casting. Is it's like, oh, this person looks like it. And again, the only thing that person is from is what do you call it? Euphoria, which Andrew said he did not like, and based on what Claire told me about, I would not like it as a show. It doesn't sound like a TV show I would be interested even a little bit. Doesn't sound like Zelda to me. And then the other thing I don't like about fan casting is people they're like, oh, this person should play this character. This person should play this character. And then when it doesn't happen, they always go, oh my God, they had the perfect casting. Yeah, my idea was the best idea. Yeah. And then it turns out, oh no, they were good. Like, remember when they announced Robert Pattinson for Batman? And it was like, oh, Robert Pattinson looks nothing like Batman. He can't play Batman. Nah, nah, nah. Christian Bale was already perfect for Batman. And then it came out and they're like, oh, actually, he was pretty good. I was wrong. He was pretty good for Batman. Or they even did the same thing with Heath Ledger. When Heath Ledger was announced for Batman, they were like, I will not watch this movie if Heath Ledger plays the Joker. I will not watch it. And then it came out and they're like, oh my God, best Joker ever. So that's why I don't really care about fan casting. I only care who did they cast, and then after the fact, did they do a good job? That's what matters to me. Maybe they have a room where they test drugs on people or other living creatures. Ooh. There we go. I'll leave that there for now. Yeah, it's a really small minority. I know it shouldn't be here. I don't care. It's just like those people were so annoying. And the thing is, there's been so many articles that came out that like, oh my God, how did they not cast this person? Because they didn't want to. That's how. Get over it. I keep forgetting Euphoria is a TV show and not just a shmentai. Based on what I've heard, it's just a very sexual show. What I'm working on right now is our next campaign, a session for one of my 2 campaigns I run. So I run 2 campaigns for Dungeons & Dragons. One is Crossfire and Cunning, and one is the Looming Shadow. And I'm working on our Crossfire and Cunning one. Crossfire and Cunning. Oh, well. Because my next session is... What date do I have written down? Is Saturday the 2nd. So on Saturday the 2nd, I'll be running a session, and that's in 2 weeks from now. So I have to have this ready in 2 weeks. Most are hacky because they're both smaller actors. Yeah, I love when they pick smaller actors because it gives small actors a chance. And also there's no preconceived notions like this person, could they do a good job? Great. Possibly. Could they do a bad job? Possibly. But I have no idea, so I'm just excited. Hello there. Hello, Adro. How is France? Tom Holland is Telemachus in the new Odyssey movie, which I think is good. Yeah, that's what Andrew was saying. He should be Telemachus. I hope this is his first movie outside of Spider-Man that does well. Because Tom Holland has not had a movie outside of Spider-Man that did well. They're not that I know of. So I'm hoping he finally gets a movie he can do well in. And maybe part of it is direction, maybe part of it is script. Maybe he's not that good an actor. But from what I can tell, everything he's been in, he's doing a good job. It's just the movies aren't very good. Fan casting never really works because it's mostly based on the fact on how they look and if they would do how the people would look exactly. Oh, it is one of my favorite types of streams. Are you actually excited or not? I can't tell. The emoji is throwing me off, but maybe I'm just being an idiot about it. Someone even threatened to say that the fan casting will. Yeah, I saw people say that. Those people are crazy. Miyamoto's gonna be fine though. He's gonna be fine. I just think it's stupid. The reason I'm glad that they cast that person would have gotten involved with a lot of politics right now, and I don't think Nintendo would want that. Yeah, Nintendo's already in enough hot water with their own stupid ideas. I don't think they want to worry about like ideas outside of the game development stuff, like just piling on top of it. And I'm not trying to say Nintendo's stupid, but like there are some things they're doing that people are not happy with, and I'm sure they knew that was going to be a thing. France is quite baguette today. Ooh, quite baguette. Ooh, fun fact about baguettes, Adro. There was when I went to France, our tour guide gave each person a job to go into a small town and buy different foods in French for us to practice French and buy different foods. And my family was given the role of getting the bread for tonight. And she gave us the rule: you can pick any bread, but not baguette, because it's the one that everybody does. And so when we went in, we went, okay, can we get we said it in French. I don't remember what it was. This was years ago. Can we get some bread, not baguettes? And the lady went, why not baguettes? Baguettes are delicious. What do you have against baguettes? And we were like, no, it's just our tour guide said not to, we had to try and talk to you without using the word baguette. And she was like, now I understand. And it was really, I don't remember what the bread was, but it was tasty. The director's the one for the Maze Runner and the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes I actually saw, and I thought that was pretty solid. So I'm hoping this will be good. The Maze Runner, I hear that the Maze Runner films are fun and they're good, but they're nothing like the books. D and Dad at the same time because I need to go because I'm working early in the morning and it's already 2 a.m. Just time travel to America time. One of the big ones is the game cards. I don't like them, but I understand the reason they exist and the fact that they're reusable and won't be linked to my account as another bonus, so I'm not too mad. Not happy, but not psycho crazy mad either. Yeah, that's a weird one. I haven't really looked into that. No, I know what you're saying. You're saying you're sad because you have to go early. Totally understand. I'm glad you showed up at all. I'm glad all of you showed up, by the way. Yeah, I'm not happy about that either, but I have to look more into it and see if the reason they're doing it is just out of greed or if there's a logical reason. I know part of it is just the fact that it's really, you can't store too much data on stuff. Like physical copies of things don't work for games anymore, pretty much, because there's so much data involved in making a game now that you have to download it from an offline, from an online store through your disc, which sucks. But also it's like, do you want the next gen games or not? So I'm very 50-50. I need to look into it. I'm not 100% sure what Nintendo is doing. I'm going to be honest. I've seen some vague things like, oh, this is what they're doing with this and this is what they're doing with this, but I haven't done my research because I don't really have the time and I don't have the Switch 2 yet. Once I get a Switch 2, I'll do research and see what I think about all this stuff. Well, hi, Swoosh. You gotta give the Swoosh her pets or she'll run away. Love to come visit the country of freedom, but don't want to look like Swiss cheese, and also I'm poor because I'm doing a tattoo. Nice. My ex broke up with me though. Threw a note in my locker even after I nearly ended my best friendship because he made reproduction jokes and wouldn't stop even after being told she was an SA victim. Yikes. That's rough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there, Terminate. All I can tell you is yeah. That's rough. That's really rough. I hope you are okay. I hope you work through whatever the problems that you're going through. Sushi! They can't really switch to discs either because they won't fit into the Switch. Yeah, with the way the Switch works, they'd have to make them really small, and then that would create the same problem that they had with, what do you call it? With the GameCube. And so just keeping it with cartridge works. It's also part of their branding now, kind of. So, the brand. Switch 2 is literally a scam. What they did with the user agreement is honestly vile. I wouldn't say it's a scam. Because a scam is when you say you're going to do one thing and then it turns out to be another. They're doing exactly what they said they would do. For all intents and purposes. So I wouldn't say it's a scam. Is it crappy what they're doing? Definitely. I'm not saying what they're doing is good, but they were upfront about it. They were like, hey, we're going to make all the games cost a lot more. Also, if you do anything we don't like on the system, we're going to brick your system. That's bullshit. But they were honest that they were going to do it. So it's not a scam, but it's bullshit. Still mad at her, though. Don't think I ever won't be. Yeah, of course. Of course you will. You'll always be mad about that stuff. I mean, it'll hurt less over time, and eventually you'll stop caring about it because the more removed you are from her as a person and that this period of your life, the less it'll matter. So long as, like, don't obsess over it. If you obsess over it, it's going to make things worse. And I'm not saying you can't think about it. But as someone who's gone through bad breakups that really hurt me and kind of, like, they affected me, eventually you just move on. I know it's like the most cliche thing you can hear, but you just move on. You have to. Time will help. Time will be the best healer for that. Nintendo doing crappy things? I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocked. We want a stronger system. They gave a stronger system, and they are pretty open about what is happening. Dude, as much as I understand your struggles, I don't think that you should share this kind of stuff with people on the internet. That's a good point, Adro. Yeah, like, I mean, you can. I think it's fine. It just don't go into details. But let's move on to D&D because we've been off topic for D&D for a while. ADHD here. I've had worse spread about me. It's probably true. Equipment room, testing room. Okay, so let's see. Mechanical arms will be around the place, right? That will go haywire when maybe not haywire. Attempt to place creatures into chairs to get injected with chemicals. The injections, I just realized I'm not on the Raylet playlist anymore, will have a randomized effect on who is caught. So basically this is going to be a room that has like a bunch of chairs all around and these large arms that will grab at the PCs and enemies and plop them into the chair and hold them down and inject them with chemicals. So the first round, these arms after each time a person goes, an arm is going to try and grab someone, right? And then the next turn, it'll try and lift that person and put them in a chair. And the third turn, it'll inject them with a random chemical, which will have a randomized effect. And we'll make a list of like 10 effects. And then we just roll a d10. Okay, this is what happens to you. This will make the battle fight scene have like this weird layer to it, and then they can try to just run past it to get to the end, or they can try to turn it off, try to fight against it, try to break it. They can do whatever they want with it, but it's gonna have, so there will also be chemical rats and ent warriors in the room. We're just going to call them chemical rats for now. So what is the goal and what is it that is being planned? So the goal is that the adventurers are going to get some information they need from this guy named Frill Blueglass. But to do that, he needs them to go into his old drug lab and get some documents for him that were left behind. It's been condemned and he can't go back there because they're looking for him. And so there are all these, fantasy cops and fantasy scientists who are guarding the place. And the players have to run in and get to where he left the briefcase in the deepest layers of his lab before the cops either A, find the briefcase, B, which they are going to do, demolish the building, which is their plan. And he needs what's in the briefcase. And one of the things that we've already done, because this was a neat little thing I came up with on the fly, is that Frill always heard voices coming from the briefcase. And what we've decided is that the briefcase is a mimic. It's a talking mimic briefcase. And so they're going to get to the end and the briefcase will try to attack them. And once they attack it, he's going to go, whoa, okay, buddy. No, whoa, hold up. Let's make out a deal. Or something like that. Maybe we'll have it be more sassy. Either way, it's a talking briefcase and they can choose to keep it. They can choose to kill it. They can choose to sell it. I'm hoping they'll keep it because then I can think of some fun stuff to do with it. Hanging wires and sparks. Ooh, yes, that's a good idea. Also hanging wires and sparks from the ceiling. This PCs and warriors can grab them to shock each other for 3 shock damage. Not chalk damage, shock damage. Yeah, now there's like an extra thing in the room that they can like take and like shock the players. I think that's a cool idea. A dungeon. A dungeon! Look for helmets better than your friends. You know it's important with to know that sadly YouTubers aren't therapists. Well, yeah, of course we're not. I am not a therapist. It would be cool if I was. But I am not. Look, my brain is broken enough, okay? I can give you advice. I can tell you what my life was like. But ultimately, I can't really help you more than you can help yourself. But I am willing to listen at times. I wouldn't say counselor and therapists don't work because they never share their own stories. I think you just want them to because you feel it helps you more. And I'm not saying that makes it right. And I'm not saying that makes it wrong, but I honestly do think a therapist is a better option. Almost always. There might be some special circumstance out there, but I think a therapist would always work better because their job isn't to make you feel like you were right in your approach, but to show you what the approach meant to you and how you can do things in a better manner for your own sanity. You're not an idiot. You're not an idiot, Terminate. You're just a human being who's just talking things out, and it's okay. Just know that I can't help you better than a therapist can, okay? So, don't worry about it. They need the stuff inside the briefcase, so why would they kill it? Or am I misunderstanding something? Well, it's a mimic, and it's going to attack them. They can, it's a living creature. Like imagine if there was a tiger and it had diamonds in its stomach. If you killed it, you could get the diamonds out of its stomach. Like killing it doesn't make the diamonds go poof, right? It's a choice that they are going to make. Kill it, keep it, or sell it. They need to get the stuff out of it regardless, and there'll be ways for them to do that. That's not the hard part. Did you hear about credit card companies trying to control what people buy, and on Steam and Nintendo had to change their policies because of them threatening to shut down the digital transactions? Advice: don't use BetterHelp. Of course it's a mimic. Everything's a mimic. It's always a goddamn mimic. This is actually the first time I'm using a mimic in any of my campaigns. I've wanted to for a while. I have a future campaign I want to do where it's going to be a seafaring campaign and they can choose between 3 ships. One is a ship that has like old arcane magic mixed with new technology. It's like this super advanced ship. One will be a nautiloid ship. If you don't know what those are the mind flare ships that they can use to travel around in. And the third one will be the whole ship is a mimic. And its thing is it can eat other ships to make itself more powerful. Maybe the diamonds should go poof like in Dark Souls. Yes, I am a mimic. I can grab onto things and bite them. That's all that a mimic is, right? Mm-hmm. Can the players take drugs? Sure. Would it be a good idea? Probably. Depends on the drugs. Fair. I'm planning on giving my players a mimic greater healing potion. You monster. Hoping they will forget about it until some crucial moment. You're one of those. Okay. I love the idea, but you monster. I know what you're doing. You're waiting for them to be like, oh no, we need a potion. And then they drink it and then the potion hurts them. Okay, let's see. What's in the armory? I don't want to decide what magic item yet, because I want to look at their sheets again and build it based off of that. But special info. Let's say there's a secret note between Frill and a counselor. They can use this to one of the blocked off areas one time. Yeah, that would be a useful item. I'd like that. So if you don't know, so the Adultery City, that's the city this campaign takes place in. After they stole the Fluxagon, the city shut down. You can't leave. They've put a border patrol, and they're not allowing people to exit or enter the city right now, so they're trapped in the city. And then 3 of the 5 areas have all been locked down to where the lower class citizens are not allowed to enter right now. And one second. Is the music playing? Yeah, it is. It was just too loud earlier, so I'm going to turn it up a bit. So one of the things they can find in the armory is a secret note that will let them get into one of the areas one time for free. So it's something they can hold on for later. And I'm just going to write it down this way so I know what it is. And the final boss battle is going to be an evil plant monster. And we should write as an addendum throughout the upper and lower floors are vines that attack and flowers that spray them with disease. I'll just say disease. If they make me suffer, I will make them suffer. Can there be a sign that says cocaine and it really just be sugar? So it'll be like a sigil they can use at one point as a one-time pass? Yeah, something like that. No, because cocaine doesn't really exist in my world. So I know this is a drug lab, but it's also a fantasy drug lab, so the drugs are not the same. They wouldn't have campaign. Yeah, spores. Ooh, I'll say that. I couldn't think of the word spores, so thank you very much. That deal 1 damage and require a physical save to not be poisoned. 1 damage per turn. Or minute. Okay, let's see. Throughout the upper and lower floors are vines that attack and flowers that spray them with spores and deal 1 damage and require a physical save to not be poisoned. Okay, I think we've got decent bones here. So we've got the enemies, we got the floor layout, some chat ideas that we actually end up implementing the toxic air. I'm not going to do the giant chemical spiders because I hate using spiders in my games because I'm a huge arachnophobe. I think this is good. I think we're good. Just an idea, but it could be a sigil that lets them travel without problems, but each time guards are throwing perception to see if they seem like the people who would have this type of object. Maybe. I have to think about it, because I like the idea you're going with there, Adro. I really do. Maybe it only lets them get into... Let me look at the... Where are my notes? Let's see, lockdowns. Where did I write down what's locked down? Did I write it here? No. Okay, I'll have to write down what areas are locked down, but I think I have... Yeah, Spirehold is locked down. Forge Veil is locked down right now. And the Green Lane Market. So right now, these main three areas, and maybe it'll be one that just lets them get into the Green Lane Market. Or the Forge Veil, but not Spirehold. Let's yeah, okay, that sounds good. Where is it? A pass with a counselor seal. That can be used. Either Forge Veil or Green Lane Market. One time. So the reason I don't like the having to do a check every time they go through is that would be exhausting for me personally, and I do like it. I do like the idea that the guards get more suspicious of them every time they get in. But part of the thing is that in this world, people trade in all sorts of things. So suspicious characters having high quality paperwork like this isn't that uncommon because there are a lot of criminals here. So I don't want that. Maybe I'll have that lead into them trying to get something like that. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to write this down somewhere. Yeah, I'll have this written down so that way I can think about it more. But I might use it differently than the way you're thinking. Like eventually they'll be able to try to get a pass like this, like a more permanent pass, and this could lead to complications, but they're already kind of on the run. And if I'm gonna give them an item, like they have to search out for this item, I want them to use it, you know? I don't want it to be one of those things where it's like, they might be able to use it. I don't know. Because I would, like, imagine you spend all, like, you're like there's a puzzle that I put in front of them, and they solve the puzzle. They get inside, they find the item, and then they try to use the item and it fails. That would suck. I'm gonna be honest. That would suck if I was playing the game and it's like, you know, a good example of this is like if we were playing like Zelda, right? And there was an upgrade for the Master Sword in, let's say, the next Zelda game is called Legend of Zelda: The Dragon's Tears or whatever, right? Or the Dragon Snot Bubble. We'll call it that. Legend of Zelda: The Dragon Snot Bubble. And in this world, snot bubbles are this magic thing that can only be used by the great hero, blah, blah, blah. But you have to find it. And it's in a secret room in one of the dungeons. And you find one of the snot bubbles. And then it turns out you need 10 to upgrade the Master Sword to make it the God Sword or whatever. And so you get those 10, you go to activate them, and then it fails. And those are the only 10 you can find in the game. It's like, well, what was the point of me searching for them? That sucks. So, while I love the idea, I don't know how... I'm probably going to change it up a bit. Item idea, drug sword. You load of drug beneath the hilt and its excrete in the wounds caused by blade on the enemy, and it runs out after all the drugs in the hilt are used. Interesting. A weapon with drugs in the hilt. Each time they land a hit with it, it causes a randomized effect. Only has as many uses as the of in the blade, in the hilt. Can be refilled. Interesting. Again, I like the idea. I might change it. I would either make it I would change this to either be changes. Have it be filled with poison. Have it be something that boosts attacks. Have it be something that acts as a mana point. Rare resource, hard to refill. Let me make Link a brawler, like, please. Two things I want from the Zelda game. No more memories. Let the story happen with Link being involved. Agreed. Better weapon system, and let me make Link a brawler. One of those things I don't think will ever happen. I don't think they'll ever let Link be a hand-to-hand, like, a hand-to-hand combatant. He'll always have weapons. They're always going to give him weapons, because that is the classic fantasy, is that you have weapons. Hand fighting is not that popular in Japan also. There are not that many games where a character like does fist fighting. Not that I've seen. So I don't think that'll ever happen. Even though I think it's a cool idea, I don't think it'll happen, Ishnavir. I 100% agree. The memories thing is bullshit. I fucking hate the memories thing. Like, it was cool the first time and it was fine the second time, but if we do it a third time, it's like, okay, now part of the problem with the memories thing is the story can't flow well. And it has to be so basic and bare bones because they don't know which order you're going to experience the game in. So they can't build an actual story with like, plot twists and reveals and character arcs, because you can just go to the end, or you can, and I really don't like the way they're doing the story. Now, there are probably ways you could make it so there are still plot twists and reveals, and character arcs with the open world aspect. There probably is. I haven't thought of one because I'm not a game developer, but there probably is. But they want to keep doing this memory bullshit, and that means that it's what, like, there's some plot twists, but they're so obvious and it's so basic, and I'd rather just experience the story. Like, I'd rather just be A to B to C to D to E to E to all the way to Z, instead of it being A to G to F to W to P to Q to B to Z to R to blah 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 to X23 or whatever. You know, I'm with you on that. That really bugs me. Better weapon system. I would rather just go back to what they had before Breath of the Wild. I know some people love it. I know it's really cool. It lets you have the power fantasy of, oh, I can pick up any weapon. It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'd rather just you have your sword, then there are certain magic items you have. I would rather have that. It's so much more fun to me. It works in a game like this, or in an RPG. But Zelda doesn't really play like an actual RPG. I mean, it does and it does. It's very unique in the way it plays. And I'm not a fan of the weapon system at all. I'm really not. I'm okay with it. And I liked it more in Tears of the Kingdom than in Breath of the Wild. But even then, I was like, I don't want the weapon system. I want the Legend of Zelda weapons. Just give me a sword. That's all I want. I just want the cool sword. Give Link a skill tree, and each weapon also gets a different skill tree. You can upgrade weapons at a blacksmith shop if you have the right materials. Well, that would be cool. They're not going to do that. They're not going to give him a skill tree. If they did that, I would be shocked. Shocked, I tell you. I think it's a cool idea. It's one of the reasons I don't think they'll do it. I think they want to stick with what they're doing. They're like, this works. Keep doing this. Keep doing this over and over. And I really don't like that. I think that would bring it into Bethesda game territory, and Nintendo doesn't really make games like Bethesda games. They like to make their own wacky things. And so it's a cool idea. I love the idea. I just don't think they'll do it. Since you've been talking about spores recently, are you thinking about some myconids in the lab? No, I'm not. And I wasn't. But the evil plant monster, now that you say this, corrupted myconid. I think the corrupted plant will be now a corrupted myconid. And it may ask them to do something for it once defeated. Sometimes I have to write things in the weirdest way. Helps me remember it better. Also more weapon diversity. I don't think they'll do that. I would like that, but I don't think they will. Some weapons can have sub-weapons, like there can be different types of bows, but they connect to the same skill tree. Again, they're not going to do a skill tree, so I would just get rid of the weapon skill tree idea. While I love the idea, they're not going to do that, so I wouldn't hold on to that. Also change the setting. Let the game take place outside of Hyrule. I agree with that. That I 100% agree with. If they stick with this formula, let's go to somewhere new, please. I don't want to be in Hyrule for the third time, seeing the same fucking buildings for the third time, and the same places under the same threat for the third time. Let's move on. Let's maybe like go to where these Zoras originated from, or where the Gorons are originally from, or maybe have it be on like the fucking moon. That'd be so great. If I can't make Link a brawler, let me teach Link magic. Oh, I would love it if Link had magic again. Oh, I'd love if they brought back magic. They won't. Let me throw lightning. Well, cool. I don't think they've ever done that in a Zelda game, and I don't think they ever will. I think they like to think of Link as the soldier warrior character, not the mage wizard character. So I wouldn't get my hopes up for that again. Zelda has always been more of the mage wizard character. So if you're going to have someone doing like magic, it's probably going to be Zelda. It makes Link that one loser that shows up and delivers the final hit after everyone already did the work. That's what it felt like for me. Yeah, agreed. I mean, he does still do most of the work, but I get what you mean. Like, it's like all this stuff happened, and then Link came in and he did the last part. Like, nobody else could do the last part, obviously. All the stuff Link does in the game, only Link could have done. And that's also kind of true for every Zelda game, when you really think about it a little bit. Especially with Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't like Tears. You gotta go. Bye, Adro. Have a good nap. Good sleep. Have you thought about you and Andrew doing a Minecraft survival series? I've thought about me and Andrew playing Minecraft. We would not do survival. Because I'm not that good at survival, at Minecraft in general. And Andrew has never played Minecraft. But I've thought about us playing Minecraft. If people want us to play Minecraft, I can probably convince him to play Minecraft. And it would be fun. I think that would be fun. Have a good day and good luck with the campaign. I hope and wish you the best. From what I'm seeing, it's going to be a blast. Bye, Terminate. Wish you the best and good luck with everything. Thank you, Adro. That's really kind of you. DK has a skill tree. Can't see why Link can't have... DK has a skill tree? I haven't seen anything from the new Donkey Kong game. I legit have not seen anything from the new Donkey Kong game. So, if Donkey Kong has a skill tree, then Link could have a skill tree. I don't think they'll do it. But there's more of a chance they will. I'm also okay with being wrong, by the way. Just because they've never done it and they've never hinted at that they would, doesn't mean they won't ever. So if they gave Link a skill tree, I think that would be awesome. Again, I think all the ideas that you're putting out there, or at least 90% of them, I'm totally on board with. I would love that. I just don't see them doing that because, like, when I think of, like, could you put a skill tree in Breath of the Wild? I'm like, no. I mean, you could, but what game would that be anymore? You know? But also, we'll see. We'll see. In the next 2 years when they announce the next Zelda game. Because it's going to be 2 years from now, let's be honest. If we're lucky. Maybe it'll have a skill tree. Maybe Link will have, like, spells and magic and shit. That would be fucking awesome. I'm just not putting my hopes up. Because if I get my hopes up to that level and it doesn't do that, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'm going to be so disappointed. Will the evil plant monster be an experiment? Yes. Exactly. He was experimenting on a myconid, and he did some weird shit to it, and now it's like corrupted and evil, and it's not connected to its circle anymore. And that's why things are... And it's going to lash out if they don't kill it. In the new game, he has a skill tree, and from what I've seen, it's worth the $70. Many are saying it should have been the launch title. Kind of weird it wasn't. Not gonna lie. Kind of weird it wasn't. I don't think Mario Kart is a great launch title. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think 100% of the reason people bought Switch 2 had nothing to do with Mario Kart. And everything to do with Switch 2. 100%. Yes, the people who bought Switch 2 also bought Mario Kart World. But they had literally no other choice. If you had given them a choice between the new Donkey Kong game, a new Mario game, a new Metroid game, or a new Zelda game, and Mario Kart World, nobody would have picked Mario Kart World first. Maybe a few people, but like so many people would have picked any one of the other games first. We have the earthquake technique. It's a start. They can make it better. Earthquake technique? Are you talking about in Donkey Kong, the new Donkey Kong Bonanza or whatever? Or are you talking about in a Zelda game? Because I don't remember in a Zelda game, but I might just be forgetting. All right, chat. I think this is as much as I'm going to be able to get done with this. So I'm going to go back to the main camera. Thank you all for your help. We've now got the really good bones of our drug lab. set up. And next Friday, we will finish the last details of it. From now to Friday, I'll be working on it. But I know I'm not going to be able to focus for much longer on this because I'm already thinking about other stuff. Minecraft creative are playing survival with fantasy mods are something I wouldn't mind to see. Well, I said we wouldn't play survival mode. I'm just going to say that. And I would want Andrew to start on basic Minecraft first and then move on. Probably because DK hasn't had a new 3D game for like 28 years, so they weren't sure if it would sell the system. That's a good point, Ishnavir. That's actually a really good point. DK is not a super popular series. It is popular, but it's not like they're Mario or Zeldas. 100% Marios and Zeldas sell consoles. We know this for a fact. Breath of the Wild, the Wii U did not have a Zelda a game on the console. It would have sold more consoles if they did. There was no big new flashy Mario title on Wii U outside of the Super Mario Bros. Game, I think. And while Mario fans liked that game, they weren't like, oh my god, you gotta play it. No, Zelda, you get the techniques and Tears of the Kingdom from the Yiga. Oh, yeah, that ability. It's so forgettable, I never used it. He meant in Tears of the Kingdom when the Yiga tests and get the techniques with the air and spikes from the ground. Yeah, I remember. You hear about the CEO being caught in an affair? Yeah, I did. Everybody's heard about that. What a dumbass. See, here's the thing. If they didn't freak out when they were on video and they didn't try to hide, it would not have went viral. They would have just, everybody watching would have been like, oh, cute couple. And then moved on. 100%. Basically Pokemon Stone Edge move. Truge. Actual Stone Edge. All right, let me check in with my friends because we're going to play Baldur's Gate later tonight, so I want to see what time they're ready. Let's see. My friends are asking when we're going to play Baldur's Gate. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream here because we're done with the bare bones of this game. And I've had so much fun. So thank you guys for helping me build the bones for this dungeon. We will come back next Friday, possibly even next Monday. I might work on it some more with you guys because it's now like I can see the dungeon in my mind. We also gotta prep another dungeon for my players. So, and work on a map. So next week might be a D&D week. We'll see. Well, I'll let you know. Well, I'll keep you updated on the Discord and the community posts. Until then, thank you all for joining us for some awesome D&D content. It has been so much fun building this map with you. We will see you all next time. Stay safe, so much, stay healthy, have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday for Magical Mondays. Don't forget, next Wednesday is more Keyblades of Sausage with Andrew. And the number one rule here, don't believe in yourself. Believe in me! who believes in you. Bye-bye, chat.